Hello folks, long time no see, it's Osiris. I've wanted to make a video for a while. I think last time I made one was all the way back during my final year of university, and having since then graduated, I've had the itch for a while now to just kind of get back to my usual routine of making art. So this will kind of serve as a little, what I've been up to and plans I've got for the immediate future, which should be pretty exciting to hear about. I have a lot planned for the rest of the year, so without further ado, let's just crack into it. I have a little speed paint going in the background, which hopefully serves as a bit more entertaining than the usual slideshows of like just work I've done in the past. So yeah, already hopefully the quality is through the roof compared to what people are used to from me. So yeah, so what's been happening? Well, I got my degree from a guy called Dean, or the Dean of the uni, if you will. We had to go up on stage, give him a bow, and get our papers, and yeah, walking off the stage, that's it. I'm a BA concept art with honours. I was not a first. That was not surprising. There were things I definitely could have improved upon looking back, but a 2-1 is completely fine, so I have no complaints with that. Yeah, so coming out, I moved back home to Redditch, and I immediately had a vacation from art. I was just completely and utterly burned out, more than I'd ever been in the past. So I just needed to take some time to recharge and kind of figure out what's kind of the next step from here. Where do we go? Because once you leave university, or once you leave a course or something you've been doing for a really long time, you kind of just get stuck a little bit. Suddenly, the only one in charge of keeping up routine or keeping up with your practice is you. There's no penalty for not doing it. There's no constant reminders to be doing it. So that's when if you've managed to build up your own discipline and your own way of focusing on your work, it really helps out in this period. Because I did say I did want to take a complete vacation from art, but looking back, this may have been a bit of a mistake. I should have at least been keeping up with some daily studies, or even just getting a sketchbook, going out and just capturing stuff I'm seeing on the way to work and whatnot. Yeah, that kind of goes into my next point as well. Is oh my god, I have to have a job now. I did have I've worked before uni, so I knew I wasn't going to be going straight into industry. One, I wasn't completely happy with my portfolio. There's about one piece in there which is actually worth showing around to employers and talking about, and the rest is just kind of stuff I threw in there because it looked nice, and that's not really how you want to be, especially if you're applying for industry. You want to make sure the stuff you're putting in your portfolio is worth talking about. It's worth you can go in front of someone and just completely yap, about what it is you've made, the reference behind it, the inspiration behind it, how it pays homage to what you've drawn inspiration from, or even just being able to completely explain the function and how it serves that. So yeah, when it comes to my pieces, I only really have one where I can talk about that, and that was my Dracula pantry, which everyone and their grandma has seen at this point, because I was really proud of it and I love showing it off. So the kind of plan has been, because I've been lucky enough to keep in contact with a lot of people, and that includes some lecturers. My lecturer Joe, who is a very, very, very nice and knowledgeable man, his Discord has been really invaluable to kind of just staying on the track, so to speak, when it comes to your art. Making sure you don't just drop out from studying completely. And he hosted a portfolio review that was held by one of his former students, Tom Osborne, works now at Atom Hawk. And that's kind of where I got the critique of like needing not just like more portfolio pieces obviously, but to kind of change the approach of like how I'm building these up. So before I tend to do a lot of kit bashing, photo bashing. It saves time. I enjoy that method. I feel like it's fun. However, the kind of the penalty for that is if that's your entire like portfolio, you're not really showing like you can draw a lot, because most of my work is 3D, and I sketch over the 3D to make it look 2D. But if you're in an interview, they're going to want to see like examples of you having done complete 2D, showing like you're not shying away from it. So that's kind of like what I've been vowing to do, and part of why it's like taking so long is because that is really hard to do for me. I definitely have like a comfort zone, which is 3D, and staying in that comfort zone is not like an end of the world problem, but it's something I'd like to be able to not be able to do. I'd love to come out of like my shell a little bit and get really confident with like my 2D work, which kind of just brings us back to what I'm working on now in my spare time, and that is some portfolio pieces which managed to have that kind of in-depth I had with the Dracula Tantry, and just built up though in a way which uses a lot more 2D. At the moment I'm working on like the first kind of prop sheet for it, and I'm pulling out like all the stops for it. There's linear referencing, there's linear design, the design follows the function. I'm gonna have like material callouts for it, just the whole kind of shebang almost when it comes to like concept art and wrapping up like your pieces to make them look really well thought out, really well designed. And that's kind of my priority, because it's not the end of the world if you don't have a lot of like portfolio pieces which you aren't happy with, because I still remember a talk we had in our final years. It's a lot more valuable to have like fewer, maybe like even 3 portfolio pieces, but if those 3 that you do have are really, really good, then it's fine to not have a big portfolio. You just need to make sure like those few pieces that you do have are really well like thought out and designed. So that's kind of like the angle I'm approaching it from when it comes to getting ready to go into the industry. It can be a bit of a what's the word I'm looking for here, like I guess scary, because you go back home and you physically don't actually see any more art. It's only like when you're at home studying where you expose yourself to like the art world again. There's no like classes you go to or whatnot. So look, listen, the only way like you don't make it in the end, the only way that you fail and you won't like become a concept artist is if you give up, like just straight up. As long as like you keep yourself accountable and you're still working towards it, even if like the work has slowed down a little bit, you will still make it, man. Like it's like going to the gym. It really is. If you don't go for like a year, like someone has done, cough cough, like of course you're not gonna like be performing as well as you did back like when you were really consistent with it. It's funny in a way, because back when I was a student, I thought I was definitely like really slow, and I struggled a lot. But compared to like when I'm out of uni and when I'm like just keeping myself accountable, it makes like me at uni look like Usain Bolt. Like you really underestimate just how much you get done while you're a student. But that's also because when you leave, your priorities change a little bit. I am probably very fortunate because I've got a retail job, but that job only does like 4-hour shifts, 4 days a week, which means I actually end up with a lot of time still to put towards like my art and learning, which is huge, really. I definitely like should capitalize on that a lot more than I do, but the call of video games is all too real. Um, so that is another challenge as well. But I feel like I do a good job of at least putting away a few hours each day to like do something related to art, which is a nice little like mental health thing for me, because if I didn't study at all, if I if I didn't work towards it in any capacity, I'd feel really bummed out. Because you've done like all this work. Because I was practicing for like years even before university, and to have all of those years you've spent like building towards something and it not, turning into anything, makes me feel really sad. So yeah, even if all I can manage in a day is like a quick study, even that is like better than just having not done anything at all. Then it goes back to what I said. It's like, come on, as long as you like just have something you've done, as long as you like just don't quit, as long as you don't tell yourself like, I'm done with it, I'm not going into it anymore, that's like when you won't make it. So yeah, just stay on the studies, do the little things which are easy, just to even get you into it. This speed paint I'm working on in the background, I think in like the first 15 minutes of it, I was like dreading it. I felt like it wasn't going to go anywhere, but as I like kept working on it, chipping away at it, I found like a way to make it work. Even though like my process is in bits at the moment, how to make a good study. But I guess another kind of like comparison to the gym is, even if you've like not went for a year, it's going to be easier to reach a level you were at before than it was reaching it for the first time. So as long as you're like just be consistent, man. Like I think that's what I'm really gunning at here for this whole video. It's just remain consistent. So moving on from that, yeah, the main point I wanted to get across was, while it slowed down a little bit, I am still working in the background on stuff, and as well, I really do want to like kickstart this YouTube channel up again. I think it could be a fun little way of like staying in touch with you folks who I'm very grateful for, who are still like interested in like what I'm working on. So I might see if I could maybe think of a few ideas, maybe like challenge videos, or maybe even just some study sessions where you guys can submit in some studies that you've done, and we can go over them, and what we can kind of learn from each other. So that will be something to keep an eye out for. This video did not take as long as I thought it would to produce, so it would not be like too taxing to keep making these if people enjoy them. But yeah, just let me know. I'd be more than happy to make more. And in the meantime, I'm thinking of also attending some art conventions for the first time. Concept 101 is coming up again. Maybe down the line as well. I'd love to do Lightbox. But yeah, that's all for me for now. It won't be as long before I make my next update. So yeah, just definitely stay tuned for that. And it was great to sit down and just have like a little fireside chat again while I work on stuff. So yeah, peace out, gamers. Always look both ways before crossing the road.